Hello, gentlemen.
Hey.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How you guys?
So depressed.
Hey. Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. So, we're back for episode 2.
We're back, baby.
It's been 4 weeks since Witchqueen launched? 5 weeks?
Give or take.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Roughly.
Feels like it's been a century. There's a lot of emotional downfall that we had with this launch.
I think we've lived a century in the last few weeks that it's been.
I agree. I am actually now 134 years old.
We'll get into this later, I'm sure, during the podcast, but I think the extension wrecked us more than us not getting a clear on the 24, like a regular 24 hours.
Yeah.
And I think that's what put it over the top for us.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, we did not clear contest mode, which was a little brutal, even though in our hearts and minds we had a 0 health pull that glitched out on us and didn't count. But I think we should have probably gotten it, and then we spent another like 4 hours after that trying to fix it. So
we're gonna have to fine tune some things, I think.
Well, before we get into like the raid talk, so what did you guys think of the launch and the new content and what Bungie is now bringing to the game?
I was telling Rain earlier, Bryce, that in a lot of the predictions that you guys were making, I think I had like the most right out of the three of you, or three of us. And
it's actually 2 of me. Yes,
there are 2 Rains. Yeah. Because I had said that we're probably killing Savathun in the story, which I guess is like a super easy prediction. And then fighting like a new boss type, like a new enemy type at the end of the raid. And I had said that we're probably going to get 2 enemy types in this one, and we did. We got Scorn and Taken. So that was cool. I predicted all of that. Me taking W's again.
That's only because you just watched Raid Secrets and every spoiler Reddit thing.
Yeah.
And your opinion is actually just a compilation of all of those things that you read.
Pretty much, yeah. There's right now I just have that in front, so everything I'm going to talk about is just all the
right.
Word for word every post.
I don't know if mine was. I don't know if I mentioned in the podcast, but I knew the launch, like release day. I had a feeling it was going to be super smooth, and then it was.
That's crazy. I think I had like a 10-minute wait. Like I got on, and that was like me opening the game at 11. Expecting a queue, and I was like, man, I'm gonna be here for the next like hour in the queue, and it was like 10 minutes maybe, and
they did
I was in the game
really
and had
good
no
job.
issues.
Yeah, they did an exceptional job for, I mean, what they had posted at 1.2 million pre-orders, right? That was the number.
So, yeah.
And you have to imagine a large chunk of those are playing day one and with crossplay, and so like there was a lot of people, so their servers, whatever they did, really held up. So I mean, it's probably the most smooth launch that I can think of in recent memory.
I think just like the previous releases, like big expansion, the seasonal stuff every 3 or 4 months, depending on. I think probably they get data, get the analytics, and just go, fine tune it. And now we're at a point where next expansion, even next like the seasonal stuff, people are going to be like, oh, I'm going to get in day one and do all that stuff.
Well, I know I've structured my like time off and stuff around, well, I don't want to sit in queue, and I don't want to waste a day of vacation just to not be able to play on that Tuesday. So maybe going forward, like I take an extra day and actually take off on launch day, so I don't miss those first few hours with everybody.
Well, yeah, especially if they do the legendary campaign next. Well, they will for the next expansion, Lightfall. But
That was good. That was like I liked that it scaled depending on how many people you had with. I mean, I went through just like you guys did with 2 other people, so we were a 3 stack, which like it was difficult, and I loved that. That like it was a bit more of a challenge to try and get through.
Yeah, it was so engaging
The
too. Like me, Rain, and Zach stayed up till 4. We completed it day 1. Like we were
yeah,
just like, oh, what's gonna happen? And the story beats, just like, it just kept getting on top of each other, just it was just mind blowing. I wasn't expecting what happened to happen.
Outside of
definitely
the
like one of the
raid,
best. No, you go.
yeah, I was just outside of the raid or the raids that they've done. Like that is the single best piece of content that Bungie has put into the game.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like best campaign that they've done, even like story wise. Like they've had some good story beats, but like this was just like the obviously like the new standard. So and I feel like they're well aware of that like they can't regress back.
Right.
And I don't honestly at this point I don't expect them to. And so I'm definitely looking forward to the next 2 expansions because of it.
Yeah, I like it gives me like the feeling that I kind of had like growing up playing Halo where I wanted to play it again. And not only was it great and enjoyable and like difficult and like the difficulty curve was like spot on, but then what they did with allowing you to basically be raid ready just from finishing the campaign was huge. Like the grind didn't feel bad whatsoever to get ready to go into contest mode. Like that, taking that element out of like having to worry, like even if we didn't do it all 3 times like we did, like just you basically have one character raid ready and it takes like that pressure off where like before you're like, ah shit, I'm just gonna skip through all these cutscenes. Like I just need to do my pinnacle grind and I don't really care what's happening. But because that like pressure to be a certain power level via other means was taken away, like I actually got to enjoy the story. And I really hope that that becomes the standard that they do going forward in terms of like we're going to do the legendary campaign and it will make you essentially contest mode ready.
Right.
I love too that it was like they basically took like they were like, oh, everyone's gonna be doing so much prep, right? For those who wanted to be like day 1 raid ready. And I loved that they were just like if you did it through legendary, you got like those 3 extra upgrade materials pretty much every like checkpoint they gave you.
Yeah.
So I think I went through the entire campaign and just like every time I would go like maybe like a +10 +11 range, I would just start infusing everything and then like play like a mission and a half and get all my mats back. Like it was like I didn't have to basically spend any materials on upgrade mats until like maybe like a day before the raid.
I had to like force myself to use them because I lost a full stack in my postmaster of 25 because I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
And yeah, I lost a full 25 stack of upgrade modules.
I couldn't believe, like, you know, when before Witchqueen came out, they were saying like, oh, the legendary campaign is going to be on par with Doom, you know, back to Halo days and stuff like that. I was in my head laughing, right? Like, not a chance.
Right.
Not a chance. Like, especially just seeing like the seasonal or the expansion like story, like Beyond Light. It was like, no, you know. But
Yeah,
like
like
I
no
know
shot.
the seasonal stuff has gotten better, and that's great. But like I didn't expect it on this grand of a scale.
Yep.
And then like the missions were long. They weren't just like, oh, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It was like just, you know, like checkpoints essentially, like in Doom or something, you know, Halo back in the day.
And for the first time in Destiny history, we got a campaign that wasn't interconnected of just strike missions. Like that was separate of the campaign missions.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I did like too that like it wasn't just, you know, queue up in a direct or in a like destination node and run the campaign. Like okay, you click that for the main story beats, but then for the offshoot story stuff, like you're exploring the throne world, you're talking to Finch, you're like doing what the activities kind of are after you get out of the campaign, and they just kind of like seamlessly wove that portion of the game to make your normal activities and picking up bounties and stuff like almost part of the story.
Yeah. I have a question for you guys. What was your favorite parts of like the story, especially with Legendary, obviously?
Oh man.
Or something,
right
and
off the
also
top,
something you didn't see coming.
right off the top of my head, the like what's the word I'm looking for? The Ahamkara, the
Riven 2.0.
Yeah, basically Riven 2.0, like the Mirage, basically, like the whether it was real or not, but just that whole mission where you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we're just fighting this, like, we're fighting this light bear, and then we go and kill him, and then you turn around and boom, there's just a Riven in front of you. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that first time we wiped like 4 or 5 times.
It was hard,
just,
which was so cool, but it was like terrifying when it first happened.
Yeah.
So I'm not a huge Destiny lore guy. Like I don't read anything outside of the game, and I don't read any of the lore books in the game. I just click them so that they stop blinking at me. So I don't know if it was known before this campaign, but when like the last like 2 missions or whatever, when they show the Traveler above like Savathun and she's holding the worm, and like you realize that the Witness tricked her into believing that the Traveler like abandoned them and didn't pick them and like forced them into the deep, and it was actually the Witness like the whole time. Like that twist was awesome.
Yeah, I'm probably the biggest into the lore, at least like keeping up on it for the most part. When she was dead and then the Traveler revived her, like, because we assume that only us, the Guardians, can get the light, and that happening just like mind blowing. It's like it changed everything, right?
Yep.
And then like what you mentioned, but the end, I wasn't expecting to see the Witness. That final cutscene, my jaw was up, like just dropped. Like,
you mean Megamind?
Megamind,
sure. And like the model with him, like
so
like just
fucking goofy. It's terrifying, but goofy, dude. It's the eyes, I think.
Yeah.
Like they made him have like those just big anime eyes, and you're like, this doesn't feel right. And I thought maybe they did that on purpose, right? Like to make it so that it doesn't feel like comfortable to look at.
Yeah.
And I think
but
they
also like his model, like it's like flowing or just like.
Yeah.
I think too they've done a really good job recently, starting with Beyond Light, of like making us not these pure good, like the D&D like 9 box where like we're not like lawful good anymore. We're like almost chaotic good to an extent, maybe like even like neutral at this point. Like we're not these like Zavala goody two shoes guardians, and I think they did a really good job making Savathun not feel like completely evil. Like you almost feel for her through the story, and like she's not this like, I want to kill her because she's done all these like atrocious acts, which she has, but like it's the story's good enough where it's like you want her to come back. Like I want more,
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It's like if she does come back, like she's gonna probably be on our side, right? Like it's not gonna be us trying to kill her again.
That was my prediction.
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, it was. I was gonna say I feel like it's gonna be like some sort of like maybe an ally, like a
or an enemy of my enemy is my friend, because like the Witness is coming again, and the Traveler is like, I almost feel like the Traveler is putting us through like this gladiatorial competition. Like the strongest light bearers will defend me, the Traveler, against the Witness again. The Traveler doesn't care who it is. The Traveler's not good. It's just out for its own self-preservation. So like we have the light right now because we're the strongest, but like it's like spreading the light to see if there's anybody stronger.
Yeah. Well, and we're starting to get.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna, like you were saying with her, with Savathun, we're getting to the point who's in the seasonal content this season, who's our ally. I mean, she's been our ally for a little bit, but like now we're like actually fully allied with Kaido and the Cabal.
Right.
And so like, is it gonna start? We start, like together and everything, and like final. It's gonna be like us and whoever's on our side versus the Witness and the Disciples.
Right.
It could be. There could also be like I feel like something's gonna happen where maybe Crow like steals her body somehow and brings it to Amaro, or maybe Amaro brings him, or maybe he brings Amaro to the tower to res her, like not in the sense of like betrayal, but maybe a way of like trying to redeem her. I don't know if I ever see us like being allied to the Hive. I think it would be more of like she's not out to kill us, and she might help us every now and then, but she's not going to like stop her Hive from trying to kill us, or like she's going to have like her own missions that maybe like we're competing against each other to like kill the Witness or something, or like get to the Witness.
Yeah.
I don't see us being like direct allies, but maybe just like a mutual agreement to not kill each other at the moment.
Well, kind of like how she was when she was in the cocoon.
Yeah.
Like clearly we know that she wants us to kill us, and she's trying to like take the Traveler and do whatever she was web shooting him or whatever. But like at the same time, like it's a powerful, essentially infinite army to use against the Witness. So maybe we strike a deal with Savathun to say, hey, throw your light bearing Hive at the Witness, and like I could just see like some crazy like off in the distance battle, like massive skybox with like Hive troops and Cabal troops like flying towards like the Witness's armies, and then like we're fighting the Witness in the raid. Like that would just be so sick. And maybe we'll get a vehicle section, like we get to drive tanks. Like Bungie does vehicle sections so well. But
I genuinely feel like the writers all got out of Endgame and said, I want to do that. And so we're going to get like a Destiny Endgame, basically. Maybe we might get it like beat for beat. Like we're going to fucking ally with all these people. Huge war, and then we're gonna sacrifice ourselves to kill the Witness or something, like and that's how like the next game gets started, is that like we're like canonically we're dead or something,
and we finally get released from this Destiny servitude.
Yeah.
Well, so that's why I'm interested. Who's going to be the third to like be on our side? Because Fallen, technically, or at least
Spider,
Fallen,
yeah,
are with us or on our side.
I think
and then
what's
the Cabal.
I think what's going to happen is we're going to see, like you said, we've got Fallen and Cabal, right? They're either going to like maybe the Hive fight with us against that, and then they bring in like a new enemy race, because the Cabal and Fallen would be allies essentially, so they probably wouldn't be around. Like I could see them maybe like putting the EDZ and like anywhere that like Fallen are, like EDZ and Ness is like they don't get vaulted, but maybe they get like revamped, and there's like darkness enemies there instead of Fallen, because the Fallen are now allies, so they can like take them essentially out of the game to add 2 more races in, and maybe we get like two Fallen or 2 like darkness type races, or
something else we haven't seen,
Yeah, because like the way that like our Hulk is like, I feel like they just open the door so that they could have any race come in, and like they don't have to necessarily call it a darkness race. they can just be like, oh, this guy's a disciple, he's got his own army. This guy's a disciple, he's got his own army. Like, again, they're all just like different races of alien creatures of some kind.
Right. Speaking of that, the disciples, we only know of, well, I mean, I guess we know 3, right? Or supposedly. We know our Rolk.
Rolk.
Our Hulk.
Our Hulk.
Our Hulk.
Our Hulk. But we don't know like what his race would be. And then if we're going by,
well, he doesn't have a race.
He killed them all, right? Yeah.
Well, right.
He killed all of them.
So
I guess for him it would be Scorn.
Yeah, the other 2 that we kind of know, and well, we're pretty sure Callus is, disciple now. So obviously a form of Cabal or under his, wing. And then supposedly, I don't know if it's a stretch or not, but Aramis. So like kind of like whatever she was, like the stasis stuff.
Right.
Well, isn't that only?
But the other 3 technically we don't know what they are. So like that's where we could have the new races come in.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, isn't it just like kind of like people are like thinking that's what's going to happen because that's what happened in the alternate universe or whatever, or in like in Elsie's universe, was that she got stasis and then like became a disciple basically. But I feel like that changed it because in the end of the like that very last cutscene, it shows the witness like showing us like thousands of pyramid ships. So you can either assume that like there's one dude controlling one race and they all have those pyramid ships, or each of those pyramid ships has a disciple in it.
Right.
Well, we're not going to face all of those, so like obviously
Destiny for the rest of our lives.
Destiny's got a 100-year plan.
1 by 1 each year.
Yeah.
We're gonna be dead.
We can't die. We have to see it all.
Another slight
It'll be the
cutscene.
It'll be the thing that keeps me going.
Yeah.
So,
Granddad, are you gonna die yet?
No.
Until I finally kill the witness.
We've only seen 98 of the 100.
I'm 2 years away.
Why do we get more southern as we get older?
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't know.
We just start to get more and more southern. The old, oh god, gotta get them pyramid ships. So any other story stuff you guys want to talk about that was cool, or is that it?
I think it's mostly it.
So
the exotic so 2, the parasite.
That was a cool mission.
Oh yeah. That was,
like,
I love that the parasite talks to us while you're using it.
Yeah.
That was unique for sure.
Or the worm.
I like the lore behind it because Savathun kind of tells you that like she didn't get tricked, but we don't know. We had no idea. Did she get tricked or not?
Right.
Yeah, all like the 2 truths, 2 lies thing. That's all been really good too.
And then the Vox Obscura with Keitel.
Yeah.
We're gonna go hunt down Leviathan again.
Yeah.
Yep. It's coming.
Do you real quick so that we can move on, but do you think if Callus truly is a disciple that the Leviathan, because it's so massive, is built around a pyramid ship?
Either built around it, or he does have his own pyramid ship, but it's like gold.
Yeah, or he's just like, nah,
That'd
fuck
be
that.
fucking great.
Like, I'm building my own.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder if because like that's usually where pyramids are like, buried underneath or inside something, right?
Yeah, maybe it's
he swallowed one.
Maybe he's carrying one in the Leviathan.
I mean, because what is a Leviathan? A eater of worlds or whatever? So
right. That'd be pretty
I can
cool.
see that.
Mark it down.
I'm just curious to think, like, what will Callus look like? Is he going to look like what he is controlling, like the Cabal? Or is he just going to be a whole different model?
I think he's going to be like a distorted, like, you know how they took the Abomination for the Caretaker model? Like, I think they'll do something like that with him, if they even actually show him.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, he could end up being just, I mean, like, the robots could actually just end up being, that's what he looks like. Or maybe he's just, because remember, like, when he did the big suck Maybe he's just like a weird purple giant thing now. Who knows?
Big old suck.
Gonna give the big suck.
A big old suck.
So, like we said earlier, fucking, we did not get our day one.
No.
But honestly, like, I'd say we could talk about like what we went through, I guess, first before actually talking about like how much we enjoyed the raid itself. But we started, and I was comparing our like my stream start of us starting the raid to the team that got world first, and we were like neck and neck pretty much the entire first and almost the entire second encounter. They figured out caretaker way quicker than we did, and just had better DPS, so they were able to get through it quicker. But like we were hanging in there, but we, similar to DSC, we have like a second encounter problem where it just takes us so long to do it, because when it comes to DPS, we're just awful at it for some reason.
We also have another problem. What we do, someone throws something out and then someone says nah, so then we just bang our heads against the wall for 6 hours
until we circle back to Outbreak, because I said it like 4 pulls in.
Yeah.
Rain was like, let's test Outbreak when we had
Derek's
just gotten...
like, nah.
We were like, no, let's try these other things first. I don't know if Outbreak's gonna be all that good. And then like later on, after teams start doing it, I start seeing people in the chat and everyone else just like, oh, use Outbreak because all these teams used Outbreak and they did it no problem. Literally first run we put Outbreak on, we did it.
Yep.
So I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
I think that's one thing we'll learn from is, well, we should learn from it, right?
Yeah.
We need to like sometimes think outside the box and just be like, you know what, let's try it.
Maybe just actually commit.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, no, this thing works now, fine.
Well, and we also get in the thing of like, because obviously Outbreak works because why? If everyone has it, it makes more nanites and more damage than just, stacks on top of each other. All of us were kind of like, I'm going to use this, I'm going to use that. I just want to see what it's going to do. And I think that's kind of like the hump we need to get over. Like, hey, let's all use this, see what happens. And then if it doesn't work out, no worries.
Another thing too is that we should do a better job at like paying attention to when the Destiny content creators come out and say Izanagi's and auto-loading holsters is top DPS, and then none of us did that the entire raid.
Yeah.
And then wondered why aren't we doing DPS?
Yeah.
I mean, I have like a laundry list of things. I don't know if we want to podcast it out, but like just consistency we still struggle with. Obviously we're not like top end raiders, but it's hard to evaluate if a change is working when we don't get to the same spot in the fight that we were before we made the change for like 8 pulls, right? And then it's hard to say, yes, this is working. No, it's not working, because it takes us another hour and a half just to get back to the same point and then fairly evaluate, is this enough damage? Do we need to make a change? So that like, yes, we need to make changes quicker, but we also, when we make a change, need to not forget how to do the rest of the fight and and not go stupid on stuff and make stupid mistakes.
I think where that comes in is like, we need to, I think like for our next couple or whatever, we do in the future, we need to get to the point where we're not worried about dying. We're not worried about getting to DPS. Yeah. All we're worried about is DPS, and obviously figuring out the mechanics and stuff like that.
Right.
Like we were dying, and then like on our best pulls, someone would die at the worst time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, and then that goes back to like, we raid together, but we don't do like hard content.
That's what I was about to say next. Like, I had asked for it before, like weeks before that, like, hey, let's start doing master vogs. Like, so not only that, just so we can practice as like a group of 6 and like build that trust and that synergy, but like we can go into a master vog and just try crazy stuff. Like let's try Izzy's and auto loading. Let's try these other things, because we can get a damage baseline at least. And then like if they buff stuff or nerf stuff before the next raid, we're like, okay, well they buffed this. It wasn't very good. Like we know that this buff is coming now. Like if it's in far enough advance, like we can just have it in our back pocket and know. Or if they nerf something that was really, really good, we'd be like, well, maybe we still try it, but like, let's go a different direction. So going forward, like I'd like to see us do more consistent practice and like not theory crafting, because there's enough videos out there from people who are way smarter putting the actual like numbers, you know, on spreadsheets and shit. But just kind of, you know, being more aware of, like, you know, Zach ran Thunder Crash the whole time and was doing a ton of damage, obviously. But like, is that the best choice? Or maybe should he have bubbled and given us all the damage boost? You know, like it's individual numbers, and it's also like there are other options. Like, and we talked about it a little bit a couple weeks or a couple days after, but like planning out our fights, like the well is always going in the bottom left corner or the top right corner.
And well, if divinity is being used, is going to be using divinity.
Right.
It's like, you know.
So I think I just want to say, you know, even for people who don't play Destiny, who may be watching or watch this later, like failure is not a bad thing. Like when it comes to much. Like you take it and you learn and you be better and you figure out like what went wrong and how you get better. Also, we got fucked by so many external things this raid.
So I feel like if it was us when we did DSC, we probably would have cleared this raid. Like we started off real strong, right? Outside of literally everyone getting errored out in like the opening encounter where we had almost finished it and then it errored out. Or no, we did finish it. And like
Zach got stuck on a wall.
Yeah.
We couldn't res him, and then it errored us out, so we had to get back out. But like luckily that happened to pretty much every team, so like everybody had to go back and do that whole encounter. But then like we all live literally like in a line to each other here in Illinois, and we were dealing with like just awful storms. And so it was basically knocking us out like one by one.
Yeah.
Like rain went down for like almost, like you were down for almost what?
Almost an hour and a half. Yeah. I was so mad.
You finally came back on, and then as soon as you came on, Tommy got knocked out for like 20-30 minutes. And then Zach started losing like having internet issues, and then it moved over to us. And so it was just like all of those like factoring in, like plus trying to like take like a break or two, like really just killed our momentum. Because like we, even in like DSC, like we got to Atrax pretty quickly. Atrax took us what, like 8 hours, 8 or 9 hours? Or was it 7? I know the clip is in your your slideshow. I can't remember what I say, but you know, we finally did it, and then we get to Tanix. Like we were like at 2-3 in the morning, and then we wake up. It took us like an hour to kill Tanix.
Something like that.
So it was like, I don't know, it, like that hitting us, and then I was dealing with Barry's health like on like a rapid decline, so that like I was just like completely out of it like all day Saturday. Plus the fatigue of us like going for a few hours, like the fact that we even made it as far as we did is astounding, because I feel like all of us were just running on fumes by like 8 p.m. on Sunday.
Yeah, we were all dealing with shit, myself included.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like a bad time, like bad timing, not bad timing, but bad timing. I still think we could have gotten it done, you know, but like Rain mentioned, we just, I would say at least, or maybe for myself, I didn't play the great, like as best as I could have, you know, and when
there were a few times where like when we were, I think in the final boss fight, like you would be one of the first people to die, and I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why do you keep dying in the same spot? I'm like,
so what happened? Because I wasn't figuring it out what like his mechanic. I guess it took me a
yeah,
little longer than it should have because I would turn my back,
Yeah.
and then that's why I would get killed. When I
mhm,
finally realized that he basically shows you what he's doing.
Mhm.
Um, I never died from his kick anymore.
yeah,
Right.
The only thing what would happen was like getting his beams. And the problem also is beams. I think there's like a if you do something to him, and or he's about to move and do his beams will be in a different spot, and that's what we were getting screwed on
oh,
because
this was also like
like
the buggiest.
so.
Like I
There
think of
was
all the
yeah,
raids we've done,
there were
like
so many times where like you'd see the start of the 4 beams and I'd be like, I am in a completely open spot, and then it would just hit me straight on. I'd be like, what the
mhm.
fuck just happened? Like, what are you talking about, our Hulk? Like, that
Times of
makes
like
no
him also
sense.
like desyncing on his teleports where like he wouldn't indicate where he's going and then he would just be on top of somebody and they'd be dead.
Yeah.
And then like going into the damage phase, how like there were times where he would do his dash and then immediately teleport back a few feet. I know that was throwing like people were like missing rockets and stuff because of it.
Yeah.
It was just nuts. Like the that was also just like adding on to the stress because like we had a run and I don't know if you saved a clip of it, but we had a run where we had him at 0 health. Like
Mhm.
the like I think all of our darkness stacks, like most of us had hit 10, but there were still like 2 people alive, so they were able to hit him with like a wither horde or two. I remember I hit him with my Wither Horde and it was ticking for 0. And then Zach hit him with like one last shot that did like exactly 42,000 damage, which like wasn't like you don't really get that in the shots. You always have like I don't remember what he was using, but like um he
There's
was
always
doing usually like
trailing
48,
numbers.
49.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And so like he was at 0 and then the last person died and it just like it just it wiped us and that was that. And then for what 4 hours after that we just couldn't get back into
Mhm.
the final DPS because
Yep.
that had just like killed our morale so bad.
Yep.
Um like
Yeah,
Yeah.
super
and then we
irritating.
switched to Thunder Crash after that, and then we could never get back
Yeah.
to where we got. So
And it's weird because like the Thunder Crash was working. Like we were doing great damage when we had it. We just literally couldn't get into the final DPS phase because too many people would be dying, like leading up
Right.
into the damage.
Yep. It's tough. I mean, it's meant to be tough.
Yeah.
And you have to play well like the whole time. And
Oh yeah.
when, we're going on 24 actual hours in the raid,
yeah,
like
we ended up getting to 30
like
next at when we called it.
brain is
Yeah.
just fried, and like
Yeah.
it's so hard to bless you.
Mhm.
It's so hard to just like think straight,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
I think
honestly, like all of that aside, like the raid itself is incredible.
Mhm.
Like I still feel like the third encounter for DSC when we're crashing the ship is like my favorite raid encounter right now. But I loved all of this raid, like the puzzles that we had to do at the start with like the symbols, the caretaker encounter of like needing to stun him and then running in to like shoot the obelisk, and then even like the entire exhibition encounter. Like it's so fun. Like it's so fun to run. And I love that it requires everyone to have roles in certain ones where you're not just like, oh, you're new, go ad clear
yeah, go
while we do
fuck
everything
off.
else and
Like
not
we don't
explain it.
even
Like,
actually need you.
yeah, like you can actually like other people have to try, right? And I think it makes it harder for people who like aren't routine raiders, which I think is like we've just been doing a really good job with our clan and getting new people in and
Mhm.
having them run and learn raids, and then like they go on and they're running like grandmasters and they're doing all this other stuff that like maybe they wouldn't have done before because they're either too hard or they
Mhm.
never had enough people to do it.
Yeah.
um
I think
but I
something
just from like a teaching standpoint, like I love this raid because it's like it requires everyone to do something.
we've done a really good job too with like the new people who aren't as experienced is like, and I think a lot of why some of them didn't want to raid before, had bad experiences, is like you go into LFG or maybe their prior clans, and like you mess up once and somebody like just flames you until you don't want to play anymore, where we're like, you know, hey, you want to learn the mechanic? It's fine, we can wipe a couple times while you learn it, like no big deal. Like, just, you know, it's better to have more people that now know how to do it, because then when we get more new people, or, you know, we're not around to Sherpa or run or whatever, like, hey, you now know how to do this. Like, you don't have to rely on us to be there, or you're just the ad clear guy and you can't explain the fight. Like, I mean, we've seen that with Soundest a lot. Like, he's one of our newer members. He's been with us since a little bit before Witchqueen, and like, you know, he led a raid a few weeks ago, like, and I don't think he had ever really done that before, based on talking to him, and like that's awesome. That's super cool. That,
and I like, it's crazy too for me, and like Bryce can for those not familiar with like the history of our clan, like there was a point in time where it was just like me, Bryce, and maybe 4 other people that we could try to get on to do a raid, and it was like once a month maybe. And that was like during like year 1 and year 2-ish, but like once Forsaken came out, you know, we got quite a few people to come in, but at the time it was just like, if I wasn't running the raid, then we weren't doing any raids that week. Or like then the rest of the clan wasn't doing raids that week. So for me, like bringing in the amount of people we have, and how I'm seeing now like almost daily raids being run where I don't have to do it, like it feels so good.
It's great, especially talking like what you were talking about, and like we're actually here to teach and things like that. I mean, back then, like what Derek was saying, like, man, we didn't have a good time.
No,
we didn't have
raids were always so bad. Just like they were just like not fun for us. Like
it was, and it wasn't like, oh, we'll get it done. It was like, are we gonna get it done? We don't know.
If we didn't have 4 or 5 hours to spare, we weren't finishing a raid.
Yeah, and so like for the most part, we tried to do it on the weekends because more time was available. Yeah, and now
we're doing 3 runs in a night.
Yeah, So it's great. I love where we're at, and I think even for our team, we've gotten to the point where, you know, like DSC was our first one, and we cleared it. Obviously, probably, I think that's our kind of disconnect, is we do raid together, but like the teams that always clear day 1 are always raiding. It doesn't even matter like if the game is in a bad place. They always hop in on Tuesday or whatever day and raid.
Yeah.
So then, you know, you always have it, you know, like your mind is with Destiny kind of like in the raid, you know, mode. And I think that's what we need to get to. And I think that's what we're doing now. And eventually we'll do Master. But after Master's done, we'll have to make sure we stay in it to do those raids every week.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. Yeah. I mean, you know, the growth is going to be insane.
This was also by far like the hardest raid mechanically, probably since like specifically Riven, right? Because Riven was nuts, and like Vault isn't hard; it just was unclear what you were supposed to do. But like this raid mechanically is very punishing. Like a lot of the things that happen and that you need to do, like if you just don't do them, you wipe. Like there's no recovery from a lot of the mechanics in this raid, whereas I feel like in, say, like DSC, oh, you only popped 2 of the 4 nukes on the ship, Tanix's ship thing. Like, okay, no biggie. Like you just have a shorter DPS cycle, but you don't die from that. Or like you deposit a nuke in the wrong basket, like you die yourself and then you get rezzed. But like in our Hulk, if you deposit in the wrong basket, like you only get 1 reset to like rebuff yourself. So like it's very, very punishing comparatively. So I it's great content. So I hope the raids stay this difficult going forward. and that they continue to like get creative with their mechanics, because I felt that like this raid was really different from some of the other stuff that they've done.
I also feel like in a weird way this like humbled us, because like we got through DSC and we were like, oh dude, this next one not gonna be a problem. Like we're all just like super fucking big.
We're fucking
gamers,
day one raiders, baby.
Yeah.
Well, and now we're getting to the point where that DSC emblem is like, like, yeah, we got it, but like we haven't gotten the other ones, Now we're just like, so
we have half of a VOG one.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean that one's interesting, right? Because like that was like you had to do the raid twice within 24 hours with challenges. And I feel like if we get King's Fall next, it's going to be the same thing. You got to do it twice, once normal, once with challenges.
So the only way I could see them not doing like 2 clears is if they made it like, I don't know. I guess let me ask you guys this first: is Master harder than contest mode or no?
No,
I would say no.
Okay, because I was gonna say if they just did Master, King's Fall or whatever. But they're not going. They're not going to do that. Whatever raid they bring back, they're going to have a mode for Master at a later date. So.
Yeah, no, it'll be a contest mode, but I think you're going to have to do the contest mode twice. Once normal, once with the challenges. Which honestly, I think is like fine if that's how they're going to do reprised raids. So
I would honestly rather just let us do the challenges so that we can just do it the first run, like so we don't have to go back and do it again. Because it is draining. It's a long day.
Yeah.
But especially for like reissued content, it's just a long time. But VOG was cool, but nowhere near as cool as new. Like I don't like VOG as much as I like DSC and now this.
Yeah.
So
I'm still wondering if it's gonna be King's Fall or Wrath of the Machine. Either one for me, I'd be fine with. I
don't know if there's like any remote truth to those leaks that came out, but there was like a thing that was like something happened and they like can't bring Wrath of the Machine over, so it's gonna be King's Fall. But there could be zero truth to that, and we can end up getting Wrath of the Machine. So it's like,
right? Who knows?
But I could also maybe see them just like doing it, and like regardless of like what the story beat is like maybe they're just doing it in order of how the raids had released, right? So it's like we got VOG, now we're gonna get King's Fall, and then maybe we get Wrath. Was Wrath after King's Fall? There was one more.
Wrath was the last one for D1.
Yeah, because they only had 3, right? Or was there 4? How many raids did D1 have?
Crota's End.
Oh, Crota, right.
VOG, Crota's End, King's Fall, Wrath.
So maybe that. I mean, they, it did say that there was like
Crota's End is not coming back, and if it comes back, it's a dungeon. Like, there's no way.
Oh well, maybe that could be. Maybe that's the dungeon next season. Is that it's going to be?
I mean, that'd be cool, but like, there's no way it's going to be a raid. Like, people are solo flawlessing it, like not.
No, I remember.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah, that's the raid. And
one more thing about the raid.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about? Do you think they should keep it at 24 hours or the extended 48?
Oh man, I feel like they should change it up a bit so that there's like 2, right? So you can have a 24-hour clear emblem, and then maybe like a week clear emblem. And then they have it so that like contest mode, you can like toggle it. So like you can have your day 1 racers, and then people who want to like attempt contest mode later on, if they want to do it like during the week, like spread it out a couple days so that it's like open to even more people completing it under contest mode. But then like give it like a different emblem maybe. I guess like if you clear it on day 1, you get both. Or if you clear it within the week, you just get the one. Yeah.
I just don't.
Ultimately, you would have like 3 emblems, like normal clear, and then 24-hour and a weekly clear.
I don't see any reason why contest mode just isn't a permanent thing. Like, just leave it forever. Like, why? Like as a toggleable thing. Like then if people want to practice stuff or because Masters really it's not as hard as contest. So
yeah,
like why not just I don't know what it hurts, I guess, to leave that difficulty selection in the game. And like
I'll let you finish. Sorry.
I was if you don't want to give the emblem, that's fine, or like a different emblem. But like you could even date it, like so people know, like, oh well, you cleared contest, but you did it a year after it came out. This guy did it, the day it came out, and or maybe it's a different emblem or something like you guys were saying. But like I don't think it takes away anything. If you can still do master, you can still do regular, and then just leave contest as like a toggleable thing.
So I wonder if there's like something why they don't do that, like coding or whatever the case.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know if any of the dev like in those like spotlight podcasts that they do, like fireside chats. I don't know if they've ever like mentioned why contest doesn't stick around. I know it's been asked.
Yeah,
sure.
I think this is where I'd lean in that, like to answer it from my point of view. I imagine the people that want contest mode on all the time is a very select few. It's definitely not the majority of the community. And them already having master in the game, I think that's like, well, once master's released, it's always gonna be in the game. So we wouldn't always, because then they would have 3 different modes, right? So I don't think they would do that.
I just look at it from like, if you want contest mode to continue to be more accessible, it's hard to practice that unless you keep low light level gear.
Yeah.
And not everybody's doing that, especially because we have no fucking vault space anymore. So like, how do you allow people to practice? You leave the mode in the game, you know? Like
I think that falls on us though. The vault space, like they already said it's never gonna for the most part, it's not gonna get bumped up.
I mean, it's not on us. They keep adding more stuff that we need to keep holding on to.
Right, but like it's part of the game. They can't add more vault space. There is Truman had I think before Witchqueen came out, it was probably like a couple months, but there was an like because that's always a topic every season or every expansion. Why not? More vault space, and I think there's something inside the game where they can't do that.
Yeah, it's an engine limitation, which I mean the engine's fucking old at this point.
Well, didn't they redo it with Beyond Light, so it's not old anymore.
I mean, they didn't build the whole thing from the ground up. Right. It's still based off the the D1 engine. So
I'm gonna be biased here on my with the vault space. Like I keep too much shit. I don't think it's an issue.
I just crafting didn't fix the issue the way I think they thought it would.
I think it's gonna get there. Like
maybe.
I feel like it's gonna get there. Maybe this is just like because I mean we're just live beta testers, right? Like it's that's pretty much what it is. Yeah. And I mean they were real quick to announce that change where they're just like removing that extra currency.
Yeah.
So I could see it getting to a point where it's not going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously, if we're into the next expansion, it's still a problem. Then yeah, maybe have some uproar about it. But
it's just like they still want random rolls in the game, and the crafted stuff as of right now doesn't. It's not that much better. Where like I could not like I have to use the crafted one over like my auto loading explosive light Palmyria that I got versus the enhanced versions. Like they're too close right now.
I think that's kind of how everything that's gotten introduced has worked out, right? Adept loot was like, it can be, good, and then, at the first season it was out. It was like, I don't really need it, but then eventually it got to the point where I need that I want that adept, hand cannon or adept, whatever it is. I think that's what weapon crafting will get to. I think we'll get to the point where all we're running is weapon crafted weapons and adept loot.
It needs to be significantly better than adept. Adept still isn't that much better than regular. Like they either need
2 different kinds, right? The weapon crafting is what you can once you get the materials, what you can make. Adept is RNG based by putting hours into doing a GM, a raid.
I'm
or
no.
whatever.
I'm saying what you said, where like I have to have this adept over the regular. I don't think that's the case. I don't think they're that much better. They either need
Right,
to
but
make
that's what it used to be though. Like I think now, I mean, like when they first came out, not many people, other than like trials and stuff, that went and got those, right?
no, but my point is that the difference between an adept and a regular is so small that there's nothing that like I need to have this.
You think
And
it's that small compared
yes,
to like getting the dump, like the 4 stat boost plus putting adept
yes,
mods on?
100%. The adept mods need to be much stronger then.
I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that, but
I mean, are you talking in PvE?
PvE and PvP. I mean,
I
adept
mean,
mods, I put adept big ones on. I don't have to put on just
adept
boss spec.
an adept reads is like slight percentage points better of damage than a threaded needle.
But that comes down to the gun, not the adept gun. Like that's just based on the guns.
But why do I need the adept one that I may or may not be able to get when it's only a slight upgrade over another gun in the game that I can easily get?
I mean, sure.
That's my point.
Yeah. No, I see what you're trying to say.
You need a
They
reason.
just need to be stronger.
Right. These loot pursuits need to be much stronger for me to clear out my vault of the non high end loot pursuit things, right? That fixes your vault space issue. I don't need a reason anymore to have all these things because there's something in the game that actually clearly outshines this other thing. Whereas right now, because they're so afraid, I feel like, of having another Fellwinters or another fucking the submachine gun that I'm now blanking on the name that they're so afraid of that they've gone too far back the other way. They've homogenized too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is a happy medium, and it's a hard spot to hit. And in a game like this, like there's never going to be perfect balancing. And I think this is where my like personally my like reasons to play the game after the raid is done start to dwindle because I don't there's nothing in the end game that doesn't come from the raid that I feel like is that significantly better than anything I can get anywhere else. So I just like, okay, I'm good. Like I'm just going to raid. Like let's do raid content and I'm good. Like I have an adept reads and it's okay. Like it doesn't move the no pun intended talking about threaded needle. It doesn't move the needle enough where like just make adept big ones like 20% better than it is then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I take the approach too. Like after we run the raid, like obviously took some days off after the raid and like didn't even like go to my computer because I just couldn't. And then I left for another week. But in that time, it was like I probably would have just been playing to get myself to be like GM ready so that I can run the GMs at least once to go for like a Golden Conqueror because I haven't gilded it yet. And then just like maybe landing on like a god roll or two for these adept weapons. So if they ever get boosted at some point, like I just have them at the ready. Though it's not necessarily as good as a chase. Like, I don't know. I've been missing, and I think for me, like the crafted weapons definitely bring it because like my chase right now is getting a full set of crafted, raid weapons because they're all pretty solid.
Yeah.
But it was like, when like Recluse and the two hand cannons that the names are currently out of my brain. Yeah. Like I went so hard those seasons just trying to like get legend to finish Luna's Howl and the other one. And by the time I finally finished it, like they were pretty much obsolete anyway, but like I still wanted that, like I still had that chase to go after something that's hard to get. And so right now, like there really isn't anything in the game that I feel is like strong that is hard to get. and I feel like it's because they don't want to do that anymore out of fear of it like being too strong and like dominating the meta. Because like right now you can say the meta is pretty like just broken wide open, right? Like you can use anything at this point, and it's like it's not just like, oh, this one gun is strong and everyone's using it. It's like every gun is strong at this point.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they don't want to add in a weapon that could break things in a sense that those weapons did, especially like Mountaintop, right? For that reason, which kind of sucks. But I don't know. I just like I miss having those like really hard things to be able to chase after.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I love conceptually crafting is amazing. It's a really cool system. I just wish that the enhanced perks and like the actual long-term investment was more worth it. And to your point, Driz, like I'm sure they'll buff them and make adjustments and stuff, but it needs to be significant, and like there needs to be some pursuit stuff that's made, like maybe with those mementos, like they do something different with that, and they start locking. I'm a big put the best stuff between the hardest content guy. Like I've always been like that in WoW. I know that's kind of a hot take. I know a lot of people don't like being gate kept away from things, but like
yeah, I think that's the issue here, right? Like this game is they're trying to, I mean, they want to, I'm not going to say cater, but they want to have as much content for the hardcore, Trials, Adept Loot, GM Adept Loot, Master Raid Adept Loot. But then they also want people, I mean, this can be a slightly different discussion, like with like, the introductory to the game, but they want things for solo people just to be able to get. And I think like what you said earlier, there's just it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
So there's like this happy medium, and I think at least right now they're getting to a better spot, but I don't know where it's going to go. And especially with the weapon crafting being in the game now and still having RNG, because that's going to be a whole another thing that they have to juggle.
Yeah.
Right? Like, do they eventually get to the point where I have weapon crafting and RNG? Do they just, just weapon crafting or what? I don't know.
I've always liked the like that guy's got something really cool. Where the fuck did you get that? And why is it shitting on me so hard? In every MMO, like any multiplayer game that's an RPG, like once you remove that, it becomes, and this is a personal thing, right? It just becomes really hard for me to stay invested in all the other activities that aren't rewarding me with those things. Like I need to have that long-term chase, and I want to be able to get things that other people can't get. Like I'm never going to get, like when Luna's was out, I will never hit 5,500, right? I just won't. I'm not that good at PvP, and I'm fine with that. That should be that way. That is a reward for the people who are good at PvP, and it should be better than the other things being taken into PvP. Like
I do miss those things, like because that's what got me interested in getting better at PvP, was going after Recluse, going after Mountaintop, going after Luna's Howl. Like I got Luna's Howl, but I never hit 5,500, so I never got Not Forgotten. But like it's still,
that's what I meant. But yes, yeah, you knew what I meant. Yeah.
I mean, that's the same thing with like I want like the Outbreak and like the Whisper missions to come back. Not them per se, but like missions
stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Because being time to go get the ship, time to get the ship for the Outbreak was. I mean, me and Zach did that handful of times to get it.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't, to your point, it doesn't all have to be vertical power progression, right? It can be horizontal and cosmetic and stuff that we can just show off. Like D1 had armor ornaments that were tied to hard achievements.
That would make, I think that they could really make strikes make it better just by adding ornaments, like based on the bosses.
Yeah,
that's what, like you said, they had it in D1. Easy, just be like, oh, now it's a little more engaging.
I'm glad I'm bringing you around to my side.
No, I look. So this game for me is like I'm always gonna like consume everything it has, right?
Yeah.
That's just where I'm at with the game. You know, I've spent so many hours in it, but like the stuff that's in it, like I'm still gonna go after GM, Master, like all the hard content. Still play Trials, but if they introduce harder stuff to go after, I'll be the first one trying to do it. But
I feel like we're gonna
I don't
see.
really.
I was gonna say, I feel like we're gonna see like because everyone's been calling for those like armors that D1 had with like the really cool, just like strike themed armor and you can even say with like the raid themed armor right now, like the raid armor is awesome. Like
Yeah.
it's like the coolest armor in the game for me. Like I love the DSE armor, but after seeing this, like it just keeps going, right? Like
Yeah.
it's
It moves.
so
Like that was so fucking cool. You know,
yeah, like bringing in like animated armor pieces like that, like that's what people want, and they had been saying that for like years, and they're finally doing it. We're gonna see way more of that, and now that they like, you know, they've got the Sony money, and so it's like I feel like there's gonna be even more stuff coming into the game compared to like what they've done in the past. You know, we say like, oh, this is the new standard, but like Lightfall could come out and like we could be like, oh my god, this is the new standard, like this is incredible, sort of thing.
I guess
like,
I'm looking for them to give me reasons to not play other things, you know?
Yeah.
Like now that the raid is done, like I can get on, we can do our 3 clears a week or whatever, and then that's where the source of everything that I want to get and need to get basically comes from.
I do have a quick question about that. Do you think if we would have cleared, do you think your mindset might be slightly different?
No.
No, I would still be, because I think like if we would have cleared when his health was 0, like I probably would. I probably would have hated the last encounter less with all the bugs, because I think that's like the main bug that like really bothered me, was that like we did clear it, but it didn't kill him. But I don't know. I feel like I would still kind of be in the same place, because it's still like that still happened. I think at like 4 or 5. Like we were still like a good chunk of hours in of like trying to do DPS.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of my feelings would, and I'm imagine Rain's would still be the same on like things that we need to change and things that we need to watch out for when we're doing it.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Oh, I just meant to like playing the game. That's all I meant.
No, yeah, I would be in the same boat. There's nothing, like I said, there's nothing currently in the game outside of the raid weapons and getting like the armor that I need to get in other activities. Like it just doesn't exist anywhere else. Like, I mean, the seasonal stuff's cool. Like those weapons are good. But like I've got good rolls of the non-crafted versions, and like just through natural playing through the rest of the season, I'll get the rest of them and I'll have them crafted. So like it's like a blessing and a curse, right? I don't feel the need to grind like every night that I get home from work to like get these things. But like on the other hand, I like want that. Like I want a reason to do that. But then on the other hand, like I want to play Tiny Tina's and I want to play Elden Ring, and I started playing WoW again. Like, so it's good and it's bad.
How's your mind to have so many spots just to be like, I want to do all these things?
I don't know. I have a fucking problem, man.
It's too much.
But
I can only concentrate like on 1 or 2, maybe 3.
But like I love Destiny so much that like I want them to not let me play those other things, you know?
Yeah.
Because like if like the gunplay is still second to none. Like it's still the most rewarding game of its type. Not that there's many, but like there's been a couple, and it's still the best feeling one of all of them.
Yeah.
So it's I complain and I say these things because I want more, right? Like they gave us a little
oh, of course,
a little taste. I want a little taste.
Oh my god.
I want a little bit more. I want, and we'll see how the Solar and Arc subclass reworks, and
we didn't even talk about that.
I know. Well, we're starting to run a little long, but
yeah. No, that's a good thing. I mean, there was so much like content, of good. I mean, even though you're saying like you want it to be more engaging with certain aspects, there was still a lot of good.
Oh
that
yeah,
came out.
like I said, crafting is great. It's a really cool system. And they'll tweak it. I hope they make the alloys a little bit easier to get. But other than that, like, it's a great system. I just want a reason to invest more into that system.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking our next episode, as like a little teaser, we've got both Sonic 2 and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness coming out. So our next episode could be about those movies if we find a time to go see them. Who knows how long it'll be until our next episode, but
we could even talk about Moon Knight.
We could.
Episode 1 did come out, so that's a great transition. So Driz, why don't you tell us what you've got going on, what you're looking forward to, plans for the stream, anything. This is my Sean Evans hot ones. This camera. What do you got going on?
The last ab real quick so I can start dying.
Yeah.
Let me take a quick last ab so I can start dying while I.
You got a little nitro to do while you answer?
No, dude, I always have the bottle afterwards. You never know if it's going to be needed.
I'm playing the Destiny content, but I'm actually thinking about going back and trying to play the 2016 Doom and 2020 or 2019 Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
On Nightmare. If all goes well, I am moving. I don't know how the internet will be. And if it is okay, I will stream those. So
hell yeah,
guys, check it out.
Do that.
But that's just what's going on right now. Nothing crazy.
Mr. Piccadilly.
Yeah, like outside of, we'll have our raids on Thursdays and potentially Mondays for those streams. For sure, jumping back into Dying Light once I can. So I think tomorrow we'll be streaming our raids, and then on Friday we'll be probably jumping back into Dying Light because I didn't touch it like the 2 weeks leading up to Witchqueen, and then so I think it's been like a good probably month and a half of not touching it, and I really want to get back into it because the story was getting pretty good, and I want to finish that up. So
nice.
But that's all I got for me right now.
For me, yeah, I kind of talked about all the different games I'm trying to play, so I need to work out a schedule of when I can get that time in. Radish and I are really enjoying Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. One of the most solid entries into the franchise that they've done. With Endgame out of the box, day one, no microtransactions, no expansion, no season pass required. Same thing with Elden Ring, which I think is why those games are kind of like doing as well as they are, because it's kind of crazy how low of a bar it is to just like don't put things behind a paywall and people like your game. Like
that's crazy.
It's crazy how that works. And then I started playing WoW again. I want to start raiding again with the old Might family and killing the jailer and freeing us from the Shadowlands. Other than that, I want to start doing some more planned content besides just hitting, start streaming and then just doing whatever. So a little preview. I've been talking to a couple of the people in Might, and I think there's a couple of them in here. And I was talking with the mods over here in TLRG. Gonna hopefully try to do a TLRG versus Might Family Feud competition.
What are you talking about? I've never heard of anything about this.
To settle once and for all who has the bigger brain, Destiny players or WoW players. And the best part for me,
whoever loses has to delete the other game and never play it again.
The best part for me,
the losers have to transfer.
the best part for me is I play both, so I can't lose.
Right.
But I will be playing for the Destiny side.
So I can't lose.
I'll be playing.
We gotta go with bigger brains. We might have to have Bryce and Zach removed from the team since they're Titans.
Yeah. So I'm actually pretty excited to.
Would we be? I guess. Would we be playing like? What would we be doing? Would it be like Jack?
No, playing Family Feud.
No, just like actual Family Feud.
Actual Family Feud.
Oh, I thought you were trying. Okay, I didn't know you meant actual Family Feud.
Yeah, copyright pending.
Can we get Steve Harvey in here?
Yeah, there is an actual Family Feud game. I just need to see what consoles it's on and all that stuff. But
Does everyone have like a? I mean, I guess it'd be cool if we could do like everyone's camera, and then like hitting the button.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We'll see. There's a lot of details to work out. I'm working with the community guys over in the Might Discord to see what's feasible for them. But I'm pretty excited for that.
Idea that I had, where me and Zach have to try and get you guys to Gold Nova 4s in a certain amount of time on CS:GO. So we'll definitely be putting that in motion at some point too.
I like that.
That'll be fun.
I'm not that good at PvP.
So
that's why it's going to be great content.
But gonna try to
me and Zach yelling at you guys because you don't understand simple callouts.
I
be like, "There's 2 on cat. Why are you watching long?"
But yeah, just besides just being more regular with my streams, just like I play a lot of weekend games and I just don't stream. Like I could be streaming all of that game time and whatnot. So, but a little more planned content. I'm very excited to hopefully get to put that on for everybody. We'll have to figure out some sort of prize or punishment for the winner or loser. And then
keep it simple. We could all like, well, I guess
little nitros.
No, yeah. I meant like just
do.
I was gonna say that the loser has to play the other's game.
Oh, I mean that could be fun. I would love to see you play some WoW. Let me tell you.
I would not have fun for sure, but
you might, and then that becomes a problem.
But that would be a good thing because I'm sure there's people that play WoW that like have no interest in playing Destiny.
Well, the nice thing is a lot of them have actually like slowly kind of like trickled in here, whether it be through my chat or Lost Ark or like there's a little bit of a melding of the communities already, which is kind of why I was like, hey, this could be really fun to pit the two communities against each other in a battle to the death. For any TLRG members that are watching now or will watch later on YouTube, please sign up for the Gauntlet, Season 4 Gauntlet.
That too. Oh yeah, we've got the sign up out for Season 4 Gauntlet. I'm so excited. Our change this season and the new standard is that we're going to be doing a month-long gauntlet instead of a season or a week. I'm going to be making a new channel so that we can have multiple people casting at different times. I'm going to participate in this one finally. I've been the one that's behind the scenes, like creating everything, being the caster, all that, but I decided I want to give it a shot, see if I can hold my own with whatever team I get. It's going to be a good time.
We're going to take it's going to be me and you, and we're taking it sidearms only all the way to the top.
All the way to the top. Everyone else can use whatever they want. It's just me and Rain using sidearms to.
I can't believe you're just disregarding the sidearm king that's right in front of you.
That is true. We did get a trials victory with you just using a sidearm on a map that's not meant for sidearms.
Yeah, not at all.
So we're looking at July is the start, the 25th, which is a Monday. So still plenty of time for people to sign up.
My birthday's on a Tuesday. How about that?
There you go. I am also working on putting together a larger cut of our raid run. The first, I think I'm gonna do it in like maybe a couple episodes instead of just like one like long video. So it'll have the first portion will be like cuts of all three of us, and then some of Zach's footage, and then the day 2 will be mostly Rain and Zach footage because I didn't stream the full time. So Rain has broken the cameras.
Oh, what?
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Podcast ruined.
Oh my god! Our DMs.
I was trying to see if anybody was on that we could host at the end of this, and I was checking other Go Live channels. I forgot that we really need to figure out a better way to capture these cameras.
We really do.
Or it's not Discord, I guess. We can use Skype or some shit.
Yeah.
Or just make like our own little Discord channel that's just like for capturing.
The problem is I can't change it. I can't look at it. I have to use I guess I could use my laptop. That's what I probably should have done.
But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be fun. There's no buy-in required. We've got till July. So we're going to have enough time to get people signed up. I'm really hoping we can get at least 20. We've had a ton of new people join. So I feel it's going to be
how many?
Also, if you guys have any like ideas or anything, put them in there.
Yeah, I did put a section in that form for possible ideas on like different types of bands or challenges. But
how many people are signed up right now?
Let's pull it up. I think not many. The last time I checked.
I didn't even do it yet. I probably should.
Yeah, I mean, I know like a lot of the main people haven't signed up, but I got 6 right now. So it's you, me, Soundist, Riptide, Tony, and Zach.
Nice.
Currently for the 6, but plenty of time to get more people signed up for it. So,
hell yeah. All right, gents. Well, this ended up actually, I thought this would only be like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and it turned out to be a good discussion about the future of Destiny and all my complaints.
Yeah, that's a good episode.
And thank you for subbing. You just right at the end, just in time to make that into the end of the video.
Boom.
Man, it's all about him. It's all about him.
All about me. Goodbye, everybody.
All right, catch everybody later.
Oh boy.